Yo, what's good, people? Get ready for Christmas. Make sure you leave out them cookies, organic cookies, raw milk for Santa. He loves that good shit. Don't be leaving him out any crap from Coles or IGA or Woolworths. And I hope you're all ready to wake up to the fact that all of that shit fucking poisoning you. I think you're all deep down, you know it. You just sort of stick it to the back of your mind. You'd rather not think about it. But there's going to come a time where you really got to think about it. We don't want to be leaving that shit to our kids and the next generation of kids. Wake the fuck up, motherfuckers. Now, witches, wizards, warlocks, magicians, magus, and magi, get ready because we're going to speak on ego magic a little more. We're in chapter 7. But don't worry, we're going to go from ego magic into self-love. Alright, so magicians often report a growing sense of alienness from consensus reality. A core perception which can all too easily manifest in ego-bound elitism or aloofness. How magicians deal with this experience of difference is thus a source of great interest. This is particularly important within the chaos and tantric paradigms, where the emphasis is on deconstructing identity, rather than continually seeking to reinforce it through making stronger attachments to any one set of social relations, and thus limiting oneself to a particular range of expression and movements. By entering a magical universe, we seek to impose order onto chaos. We enter mythic time or eternal time, a link with the past through symbol, image, and continuity. An escape route whereby we can gain a breathing space, a sense of order and continuity. There we find identity and root ourselves into a structure. The magical revival is powered by two related undercurrents. Firstly, the search for a personal and collective past, and secondly, the need for escape routes from the perceived tyranny of paramount reality. The desire to uncover and preserve the past is part of the impulse to preserve the self. Without knowing where we have been, it is difficult to know where we are going. The concern for uncovering the past through ruins, museums, etc. has grown since the 19th century. The past is the foundation of personal and collective identity. It offers the sense of continuity, of eternal time. But history is no longer truth. The past can be rewritten, reforged in a new image to feed our dreams of golden ages, of national boundaries, of ageless wisdom. History turns into commodity. The preoccupation with roots has grown rapidly since the 1970s. Ever more so because of widespread insecurities in areas nominally seen as stable, labor credit, technology, skills. Magical universes return to us the promise of a meta theory through which all things can be represented. This runs contrary to the spirit of the age, which turns increasingly away from global projections, where a meta-narrative is illusory. The sciences are suddenly uncertain, no longer able to chart the void through mathematics. They find smaller and smaller worlds to discover. The one-world dream of the Enlightenment is fragmenting into worlds colliding and worlds apart. We don masks and enter the different reality games, the social worlds layered through each other through which we pass each day. The alien worlds we glimpse reflected from the eyes of others whom we cannot touch, whose existence we can only guess at refracted through the media net of stereotypes and labels. Images flicker across our eyes and in our heads. Becoming a magician implies continual change, modification of identity, entering different paradigms of belief and behavior, learning new skills, and shedding life patterns which have outgrown their usefulness. There is thus a shift from a core ego, which is based on maintaining differences, the self-other divide, to that of exo, the self in a continual process of dynamic engagements. Self-love. The logical progression of this process is to reach the point where identity is continually being deconstructed. When a measure of fluidity of expression is attained and one is released from the necessity of having one's sense of self validated by others, this is what Austin Osman Spare referred to when he wrote of his doctrine of self-love. This is no narcissistic self-reflection of the glamours of the ego. Rather, it is the void at the core of an identity which is freely able to move into any desired set of social relations without becoming trapped or identified entirely within them. As the core of the sense of self is self-love, rather than any label which encapsulates any particular set of behaviors, beliefs, and life patterns, one attains a state of great freedom of movement and expression, without the need for self-definition. Self-love does not necessarily imply alienation or withdrawal from consensus reality. Modern culture is saturated with escape routes by which we are encouraged to resist the routines of reality. Drugs, sex, fantasy scripts, communal living, separatist ideologies, therapies, mindscapes, and historical or utopian romanticism, all well signposted escape routes that ultimately can be shown to be dead ends. We're going to stop it there. We will return tomorrow with part 50 of Condensed Chaos by Phil Hine. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers.